Hello, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to take a look at some of the bikes that we used in the Highland Trail 550, which, as the name suggests, is a 550-mile bikepacking race around the Scottish Highlands that finished very recently. I'm just going to say a big shout out to the guys over at bikepacking.com. They've let me use some of their images from their bike checks, but you know, they've got a very extensive list of all the bikes that we used in the race, so go and check those guys out if you haven't seen it already. But yeah, so I've picked a few and I'm just going to talk about them and see what's what. So the first one, this is from Thomas Bourret. So he actually ended up he was second in the race. And this is it's a small brand, Epsilon. It's a small French brand, steel frame. It really looks nice, very nice kind of, you see the stays on the back there look really cool. So yeah, he's running the SID fork on the front there, so that'll be 120mm travel, I suspect. 29-inch tyres, running these Hutchinson Kraken tyres. They're actually pretty fast rolling, bit of grip on the edge. Personally, I probably run something a little bit grippier on the front, but I've used that rear before on the Highland Trail, and yeah, they're grippier than they look. He's got the little Cane Creek Thudbuster seat post in there. It only gives you a few mil travel, but it's it does make a difference over the duration of a race. And what else have we got on there? Restrap bags. Also, look, you may notice this part on the top here. It's the Restrap hiker bike harness. Obviously, the Highland Trail has got a lot of hiker bike in it, so having the harness, you can basically put the bike on your back like a backpack. It really does make things easier. He's going pretty light. I imagine he had a hydration pack, but yeah, there's not much stuff on there, so he wasn't planning on stopping much at all for sure. Next up, well, I'm basically putting this up there because I ride one of these myself. This is the Mason Raw. They're still hardtail. Actually looks very similar to the Epsilon that Thomas was riding. These are actually made in Scotland, up at Fiveland Bikes, just outside Edinburgh. And yeah, really nice bikes. I've ridden one of these around 2 editions of the Highland Trail now, so they're definitely the right tool for the job. Again, 120mm fork on there. A lot of riders are running these RockShox SID. These are the 35mm sanction ones, which are a little bit stiffer than the race orientated one. Full mudguard on the front. Again, it's probably worth it on the Highland Trail because even if it is dry, there's always like moisture in the ground. There's lots of river crossings, and getting mud sprayed in your face for 4, 5, 6, 7 days is not a nice experience. So yeah, having that on there is good. Full frame pack and a little saddle pack. I'd suggest that this was Callum Fisher. I'd suggest he probably had a hydration pack for his water, which is a really good idea on the Highland Trail. Bottles, I've used frame bottles before and hydration packs, and I find hydration pack is better. My preference would usually be for bottles, but on the Highland Trail, because there's lots of hiker bike, it's very difficult to hike when or drink when you're hiking, and also that they just get covered in mud and grit, and it gets very difficult to get them in and out. So having a hydration pack keeps things out of the way. So yeah, you'll probably notice a lot of the riders have gone for that. Tyres, what is he running? Mezcal and a Barzo. So these are Vittoria. I've been running the Mezcals recently. They're good and fast rolling, but yeah, the front's a bit dicey sometimes with grip. So running the Barzo on the front is probably a good compromise. I've not tried the Barzo myself, but a lot of people do run that. Ergon grips on there. They seem to be popping up everywhere at the moment, and it looks like he's running a dropper post as well. Good idea on the Highland Trail, although I do find that if you haven't got a rear mudguard, they can get full of grit and then just stop working. So you need to try and keep mud off your dropper, otherwise it's basically ineffective. The next bike, this is Marone Golfman. So he came over from Alaska. He's won the Colorado Trail Race on this particular bike. He's also won the Iditarod Invitational. That's, for those who don't know, it's the 1,000 miles snow race across Alaska. So he knows what he's doing. He ended up having a medical problem like 10k from the finish, so ended up scratching. But he was right up there pushing Thomas for second place. And yeah, this is the Santa Cruz Blur. I think this is the trail version. So essentially it's longer travel. So 120mm fork, 115mm rear travel. To be honest, like a lightweight full suspension bike is going to be super fast on a trail like this. The only sort of downside is the space in the frame is a bit more restricted. But as you can see, he's on the Tailfin R&D division. So he's got a custom frame bag here, which maximizes the space available, and he's got the long top tube bag, and then the bar roll on the front there, just to get all the kind of stuff he needs in there. You may notice as well, a lot of people tend to run a bar roll on the Highland Trail. For me, I find it better to have the weight on the front. You need to lift the back end up quite a lot to get over the drainage bars on some of the hiking trails that you're riding. So I find having a lighter back end is a bit easier. He's also got mud guards on there, again, sensible, protects the bearings as well on a full suspension bike. I rode on, well, a predecessor to this, the Tallboy, on my first attempt in 2015. I got 400 miles round, my bearings gave up. I probably should have fully serviced them before, but I didn't, and it was a wet year, so my bearings collapsed. But having a mud guard does help that, and again, keeps the dropper riding nice and smooth. And you can see he's running a hydration pack. This is the Albion cargo vest. I've used one myself. So yeah, get your water on your back. And it works quite well. This next one, basically, this is Andrew Hutchinson. He's local. He lives in Edinburgh. I rode quite closely with him in 2020. It would have been, I think. No, maybe 22. I can't remember. Anyway, rode around with him. The reason I put it in, I'm just seeing a lot more bears at the moment. They seem to be really making inroads, kind of into the world. So yeah, I don't know much about these bikes, to be honest. I can't even remember what they're called. But yeah, you can see a similar kind of pattern arriving. Frame bag, must be a custom one. Got a mud guard on the front there. When the local riders are running mud guards, that it's a good idea because they're familiar with the conditions. Running the Revelate bags on there. So yeah, nice little setup. Ergon grips again with the bar ends. I'm a fan of those. So yeah, nice little setup from Andrew. Next up, Kerry McPhee. Of course, she was the fastest female and right up there in the top 10 overall. Again, another local rider. She's on a Genesis carbon hardtail here. Looks like it's probably 110, 120 mil suspension. XGR setup. Again, dropper post. Most riders seem to be riding a dropper post. I suggest she probably ran a hydration pack, running these Restrap bags, and again the Restrap hiker bike harness. You can see the little mounts on the seat stay and the down tube, and basically you just kind of hook in the harness, and it makes it a backpack. Makes it really easy to hike up some of the harder stuff. Running the mezcals, again fast rolling. Personally, I prefer something a bit grippier on the front. But I mean, it's a case of you get used to it over 500 miles anyway, so you soon learn the sort of the strength and weaknesses of your tyres. So yeah, it was a really great ride from Kerry, and that was the bike she used. So next up, we've had the female winner, now the male winner, Alex McCormack. Took the FKT by 4 hours or so. Super lightweight setup, as you can see here. So this is the Fairlight Holt. Again, another steel hardtail. Seems to be a theme. It's either a steel hardtail or or carbon full sus seems to be the bike of choice for the Highland Trail. Again, running the dropper post. I would be intrigued to know if it was still working by the end, because he's got no mud guard on there. And I found that they really can get gritted up. Again, the 120 mil Sid fork on there. Hunt proven XC wheels. I've used these on the Highland Trail myself. They work pretty well. Really nice wide rim. To absorb the kind of rocks. He's got the Victorian Mezcal and the Barzo combination. I think that's probably a really good combination for this course. Certainly a fast rolling rear and then a bit of a grippier front, just to give you a bit more control. And as you can see, he's got one of these Tailfin custom frame packs. These mountain bike ones aren't available yet, but there are road versions available now. I do believe that this is kind of in the pipeline to be released. But in the meantime, they're basically being used to win a lot of the big bike packing races. He's got the down tube pack. I suspect it's tools and things like that in there. Things that you don't really need to get too often, because that does get covered in mud quite a lot. And then one of these long top tube packs. So yeah, really light setup. I'm guessing he had a hydration pack on as well to carry water. And yeah, he did really well. FKT. Really stunning ride from a young rider. So yeah, it's good to see, and it's good to see the sports kind of going in a good direction. Yeah, and guys like me are just going to be going further and further down the finish list of these races, which is a bit disappointing, but it's good. It's good progress. Next up, Sofian Sahili. So he's moved to bomb track this year, riding a new bike. This is actually, it's not a production bike. It's I think it's an open mold frame that they get sprayed up because they don't make a full suspension. But Sofian, he's a recent convert to full suspension. So he's riding this. Actually, this frame has been used for a couple of years by Gosse Vandermeer, who's another bomb track rider. He rides a lot of the mountain bike stage races. I think he won Transalp last year, which is a big deal if you're kind of in the mountain bike circles. And as you can see, similar story. Custom frame pack. Sofian rides Miss Great bags. I used to ride them myself. They're really cool. It's got the little front bag holster on there. I can't remember what it's called, but it's really solid. And a saddle pack and proven wheels, hunt proven wheels, same as Alex used to win. Tyre choice is a little bit dubious from Sofian. He is sponsored by Rennes, and these are the 55mm Fleeter Ridge tyres, but they're not really grippy enough for the Highland Trail, in my opinion. I think you need something with a bigger side knob on there. And also that the side knobs also give a lot of sidewall protection. There's just so many rocks out to get you. And Sofian's cut a tyre at some point. I mean, the tyres are perfectly good. They're really good, but just not for this particular use case. I think that was an error by Sofian there. But there we go. You live and learn. Again, Sofian's got the dropper on there, got the ergon bars with the bar ends. So yeah, nice build. And yeah, I think Sofian, he came in 5th place or 4th place. I can't remember now. So yeah, he was right up there as usual, and I'm sure you'll see this bike in action again somewhere later in the year. And finally, this is probably my favourite, one of my favourite bikes out there at the moment. This is from Quinda Van Hoel. I featured this before. She's done Atlas and things like that on this bike. It's the Sour, and actually it's I can't remember what it's called. Is it Sour Cookie Party? Something like that. It's just been released. Actually, check out bikepacking.com. I think they had an article on it recently. But these are made in Germany. So it's a steel front end with like a CNC alloyed rear, and I just think they look really, really cool. 130mm front travel, 120mm rear travel. I just really like the look of these. They've got the horse link in there. You know what? It's kind of a bike I'd buy. It's just a bit different. There's so many really good full suspension bikes out there, but they're all just a bit the same. This, I like the fact it's handmade. The CNC machining looks really cool. So yeah, really nice bike. Not the first time I featured it, and I just think it's really cool. Obviously, Quinda on the Tailfin R&D team, so she's got custom bags. These new tail packs, I've had a few people ask me about them. Some people have asked if they're just a dry bag mounted on the rack, but no, they are an actual bag from Tailfin. You'll notice there's a few people riding them. I used one. If you see my coverage of the Japan Odyssey and the Atlas mountain race earlier this year, I was using one. Alex Kopp just won the Accursed race using one, and Quinda's used one here. They're essentially a slightly smaller version of the Tailfin with the Tailfin Aero Pack with a big cargo pouch over. So they work really well if you've got a small frame and you need a bit more space under the saddle, or if you're running a dropper, or if you want something a bit sleeker on a road bike. They are prototypes at the moment. They're not available in production, but I suspect, well, the normal pattern is, without giving away too many secrets, if you see stuff consistently on Tailfin R&D division riders' bikes, then there's a fairly good chance at some point you'll be able to buy it, and that's all I'll say on the matter. Again, same goes for the Tailfin front bar bag. You've been seeing those for a couple of years now, so just watch this space. So yeah, that's Quinda's bike. She's running Schwalbe tyres. Looks like the Racing Ralphs. Can't quite see what the front one is. Racing Ray maybe. Again, a faster rear and a slightly grippier front. That seems to be the pattern. So yeah, a really cool setup from Quinda. And yes, I hate to say it, I know I'm sponsored by Mason, but I think this is my favourite bike out there at the moment. So yeah, so that's it. Yeah, that's all my bikes to show you. So thanks for watching. I hope that was useful, and I'll catch you in the next one.